email is nothing but an electronic mail is a digital system for sending messages, files and multimedia over internet. We either call email or electronic mail, or in simple form we can call it as electronic letter. A mailbox is a file on the local hard drive to store received mails. Then the spool file, a spool file is a file that contains mails that are to be sent. Hello everyone, welcome to session 1, unit 2 for 4th Sem BCom English students, language component 1, that is email. Myself B. Shobarani, faculty in English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence in MYSURU. In today's session, I'll be discussing about a very important concept called email, or that is electronic mail. What are all the important things I'm going to discuss in this particular session? As usual, what is email? That is the introductory part. The email overview, the core concept of the user email, then how it works, then simple mail transfer protocol, that is SMTP, then types of email, finally with a conclusion. So email itself the expansion of email is electronic mail, or in simple words we can call it as email, that is electronic letter. Let me move on to the introduction of this very important language component, that is email, which is there for your syllabus, and the weightage of marks for this particular language component, that is email, is 5 marks. Email, as I said, the expansion is electronic mail. What is email then? I think all of us know this is an era, this is a digital era where everything is digital. Maybe the transactions or the communication, whatever it is, like it has become digital. So what is email then? Electronic mail is a digital system for sending messages, files and multimedia over the internet, acting as a fast, flexible and inexpensive alternative to traditional mail, relying on unique addresses like the apps like user@domain.com and servers to deliver content instantly between users worldwide. So how do we define the word called email then? Email is nothing but an electronic mail is a digital system for sending messages, files and multimedia over internet. And this is acting as a fast, very fast, flexible and inexpensive alternative to traditional mails, and relying on unique addresses like user@domain.com and servers to deliver content instantly between the users and the worldwide. Email allows for text, images, documents and videos featuring friendly interfaces, clients like Gmail or Outlook, and robust backend server systems for storage and routing, making it a fundamental tool for personal and professional communication. Now everybody should have an email address so that the communication can be made through email. So now it has become it's a mandatory now, like each one of us should have a mail address, and most of the communications may be casual or what we call it as personal or professional messages are sent through email. So it allows for text, images and documents and videos featuring friendly interfaces, clients like Gmail or Outlook, that is the apps, then and robust backend server systems for storage and routing, making it a fundamental tool for personal and professional communication. Moving on, you can see in this picture, that is the man behind this email, that is Ray Tomlinson. Let us understand email overview. So electronic mail, or commonly shortened to email, is a communication method that uses electronic devices to deliver messages across computer networks, and email refers to both the delivery system and individual messages that are sent and received. Let us go back to the history of email. Email originated in 1970s when Ray Tomlinson created a method to transmit messages between computer systems on the Advanced Research Projects Agency network, that is ARPANET. And today, email is one of the most popular methods of digital communication. So, email is one of the fastest flexible method of digital communication. So, when we go back to the history of the origin of email, email originated in the 1970s when Ray Tomlinson, here you can see the picture of Ray Tomlinson, created a method to transmit messages between computer systems on the Advanced Research Projects Agency network, short form is ARPANET. So today, email is one of the most popular methods of digital communication. Moving on to the core concept of email. What exactly is email and what are the components of email? As we already said, a method of exchanging digital messages over a network, essentially as an electronic letter. So, we either call email or electronic mail, or in simple form we can call it as electronic letter. First and foremost, what is very much important to send an email? That is email address. Email address is very, very important. So what is email address? It is a unique identifier. For example, your name at example.com that directs messages with @ symbol separating the user from the service provider, the email address. So what is email address? It is a unique identifier that directs messages with the @ symbol separating the user from the service provider. Service provider might be Gmail or Outlook. Next is email client, that is user agent. Software or web interface like Outlook, Gmail, used to compose, send and read emails. Next, we require email server. What is email server? A computer system that stores, routes and delivers messages between users. So when we try to understand the concept of email, first and foremost requirement is email address, email client and email server. How it works in a simplified manner, how email works, we have to understand. First is compose and send. Next, routing. Next is storage. Next is delivery. So, the working of email in a simplified manner is first and foremost requires composing and sending. So, whatever message you want to compose, you have to compose first and then send. So, you write a message in your email client and hit or press the send button. Routing. Your email client sends it to an outgoing mail server, that is Single Message Transfer Protocol, that is SMTP. Your email client sends it to an outgoing mail server like Simple Message Transfer Protocol. Next, storage. The server stores the message in the recipient's electronic mailbox on a server. Next is delivery. In email, delivery, what exactly you mean by delivery in email? Delivery means the email successfully reached the recipient's mail server regardless of the folder, inbox, spam or promotions. So, how it works? First is compose and send, then routing, then storage and then delivery. Then electronic mail, as I already said, commonly as email, is a method of exchanging messages over the internet. What are the basics of email? Already I said an email address. This is a unique identifier for each user, typically in the format of name @ domain.com. And an email client, this is a software program used to send, receive and manage emails such as Gmail, Outlook or Apple Mail. Then an email server. This is a computer system responsible for sharing and forwarding email to their intended recipients. Now, to send an email, how do you create an email and send it? So, first step, you can call it as the steps that is involved in sending an email. First step, compose a new message in your email client. Second step, enter the recipient's email address in the to field. Then 3, add a subject, which is very, very important. What is the purpose or the reason for you to send that particular message is very important. So add a subject line to summarize the content of the message. So the subject itself is like a summary, like what is the reason for you to send that message to a particular recipient. So through an email message. So that is very important. So add a subject line to summarize the content of the messages. Then write the body of the message. Then write in detail. Detail in the sense not so very detailed, but the subject has to be elaborated in a simple manner, so much so that the recipient will understand the message which you would like to convey to them. And it is like a digital communication. As I already said, it is a digital communication. So write the body of the message. Next, attach any relevant files if needed. Attach any relevant files if needed. For example, like I'm just giving an example. You're working in a company and you want to apply sick leave. But when you apply a sick leave, so you must also provide a proof for your sickness. That is, it might be a doctor certificate or your what do you call it as the prescription of the medicines that has been prescribed by the doctor to you, and a letter by a doctor that you need to take rest for some days. All that is called as a file or a document. So if at all, if needed, any document has to be attached along with the email. So attach any relevant files if needed. Then after that, click send button to deliver the message to the recipient's email service. Just if you type all the message and just sit quiet, no. Later, you want to send the message to a particular recipient to their mail address. For that, you have to click the send button to deliver the message to recipient's email server. Now, there is one more thing very important in email. For example, if you are working in a big company or in a company, email can also include features such as CC, that is called carbon copy. The same message, you want to send it to multiple recipients. So at that point of time, you have to make it as CC, that is carbon copy, and BCC, that is blind carbon copy, to send copies of the messages to multiple recipients and reply all and forward options to manage the conversation. What are the steps that are involved in sending a mail? First is compose a new message in your email client, enter the recipient's email address in the to field, add a subject line to summarize the content of the message, write the body of the message, attach any relevant files if needed, click send to deliver the message to recipient's email server. Emails can also include features such as CC, that is carbon copy, and BCC, that is blind carbon copy, to send copies of the messages to multiple recipients, not maybe like 1 or 2 people extra you want to convey the message, and reply all and forward options to manage the conversation. Moving on to the simple mail transfer protocol, that is SMTP. This is a flow chart of the simple mail transfer protocol, where we have the user agent and message transfer agent, as well we have the internet, the server, LAN. So this is how the message goes from the sender to the recipient. So what are all the things that are involved in simple mail transfer protocol? First one is what? User agent. So the user agent here, the user agent MTA, that is message transfer agent. So here we have user agent. That is, what do you mean by user agent? The user agent UA is a program which is used to send and receive mail. User agent is what? The user agent UA is a program which is used to send and receive mail. Then MTA, that is message transfer agent. The message transfer agent is actually responsible for transfer of mail from one system to another. Very important. From the sender, it has to go to the recipient or the receiver, and that job is done by MTA, that is message transfer agent, which is responsible for transfer of mail from one system to another. Next is very important is the mailbox. The mailbox is like a file on the local hard drive to store received mail. So all the mails that you have received will be there in the mailbox and you can check it. So also in a similar way, The receiver also will have a mailbox wherein all the file on the mail is like a file on the local hard drive to store received emails. Then the spool file, very important. A spool file is a file that contains mails that are to be sent. So in a simple mail transfer protocol, the things that are involved is user agent, that is UA. The user agent is a program which is used to send and receive mail. Message transfer agent, MTA, that is the message transfer agent, is actually responsible for transfer of mail from one system to another. Next comes the mailbox. A mailbox is a file on the local hard drive to store received mails. Then the spool file, a spool file is a file that contains mails that are to be sent. Then let us understand the types of mails, and as far as the 4th Sem BCom English syllabus is concerned, email is of two types which you have to study. That is, one is the casual or personal email and the other one is the professional email. So types of emails are categorized based on the purpose or recipient. That is, personal email, which is also called as the casual email, work or business email, then we have the marketing email, then the transactional email and the spam email. So very important according to your syllabus is two very important. One is the casual, or what we call it as personal, and the second one is called professional, which you use in your career time. So personal email. What is personal email? Casual messages for friends and family, that is through Gmail or yahoo.com. So those are the apps which we can use for personal emails. And even for company will have their own domain. So work business email, professional communication with organizations typically provided by employers. So your professional email communication is through organizations, the company which you are working, typically provided by employees. For example, like name@company.com. Company will have a domain, so that you have to write. Then marketing email, promotional messages or newsletters or product updates sent to subscribers. For example, like sales and event invites. Next, transactional email, automated messages confirming actions like orders, shipping updates, or account changes. Then the spam email, the very word is like even we have the spam calls in our mobiles. So what is spam? Spam is something which is unwanted, unsolicited. So unsolicited or unwanted messages, unwanted calls, we call it as spam calls. So what is spam email then? Spam email is nothing but unsolicited, unwanted messages, often containing scams or unwanted ads. So these are the types of emails we have to study, but there is only two types which you have to study for your 4th Sem BCom English, that is the casual and professional email. So you have to concentrate on these two, but to make you understand the other types of emails, I have come out with the remaining three, that is marketing email, transactional email, as well the spam email. So what is personal email, which is also called as casual email, is mainly meant to send casual messages for whom? For friends and family. That is, for example, through email, Gmail, as well like Yahoo. Then work or business emails, which you call it as professional. Professional emails. Professional emails like communication with organizations typically provided by employees. Example, name@company.com. Then other than these two, casual and professional, what are the other types of emails like marketing email, which gives where the promotional messages, newsletters or product updates are sent to subscribers, example, sales or event invites. Then the transactional email, automated messages confirming action like orders, shipping updates or account changes. The last but one is the spam email, unsolicited or unwanted messages often containing scams or unwanted ads. Let me conclude the whole concept of email. So email, which is nothing but called the electronic mail, or in other words you can call it as an electronic letter, is a very, very important digital system in the present world for communication. So you can call it as the fastest digital communication method is through email. So the conclusion of the email concept is that electronic mail or email short form is a fundamental, dynamic and evolving digital communication tool integral to modern life for personal, educational and business needs, requiring clear, concise writing and effective closures like calls to action and professional sign-offs to achieve specific goals despite its limitations in non-verbal cues, all while adapting to new technologies and usage patterns. So I conclude this very important concept, language component called email concept, that is the conclusion of the email concept is that electronic mail or email is a fundamental, dynamic and evolving digital communication tool integral to modern life for personal, educational and business needs, requiring clear, concise writing and effective closures like calls to action and professional sign-offs to achieve specific goals despite its limitations in non-verbal cues, all while adapting to new technologies and usage patterns. Hope you all have understood about this very important concept called email. So, what am I going to discuss in my coming session? Another very important continuation of the language component 1 along with email is the apology letter. So, whenever you have done something wrong or you want to ask sorry for somebody, you need to write a letter called to apologize for the mistake what you have done, and that is called as apology letter. So, in my next session, I am going to discuss about the next concept of the language component 1, that is apology letter. Hope you all have understood the first language component unit 2 for 4th Sem BCom English email concept, which is of two types, that is casual and professional. Hope you have understood this concept called email, which is very important language component which is for 5 marks. Thank you.